Alright, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get this garden bed prepped up for planting. Now I have planted some things, but just kind of playing around, but we're going to plant some other stuff eventually in this whole garden. Last year it was primarily tomatillos and watermelons, so I'm thinking regular vegetables, maybe some kale in here this year. Alright, so what I got here, first off I got some compost. Alright, lots of compost, and I'm going to spread that around up in here and just get it evenly kind of spread all out throughout the garden. And then once I do, all of these roots and such that did not get composted down, hopefully I'll be able to pick out most of them and get rid of them, let them dry out on the grass, and then I'll mow them up. Another thing I have here, which I want to show you, is all my dirt from last year. Alright, or not all my dirt. This is like pots that I have used last year. This was a tomato plant last year, did pretty well. Got me some cherry tomatoes. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to throw it back in here. This dirt is not used up. Now, has some of the nutrients gone out of it? Sure. But it is still good dirt. There's nothing wrong with it. Not going to hurt your plants in any way. And in fact, hopefully we'll break down the bark pieces and such that are in there, and we'll continue to be able to provide nutrients for my plants. I don't suppose you are, but don't throw this dirt away. I mean, it was all potting soil, and there's nothing wrong with it. It'll be perfectly fine. Now, I will tell you, one of the things I got a problem with is ants. Like that particular pot is chock full of ants. Anthill developed up underneath there. So be careful when you do this. Boy, there's all kinds of ants up in there. I just pissed them all off too. There. Don't let them crawl up your pants. Like my grandpapa used to say, nothing worse than a kid with ants in his pants. But anyway, that was, for people who used to fidget a lot. Now I keep all my little plastic tags, and I keep the pots. Some of them will get to where they're coming apart, especially these little ones like this. But as long as they're still usable, I will continue to use them. And I'll use most of those pots for something this year. Some were successful experiments, but most of these were not. So that's part of the fun of gardening, though. Trying new stuff to see what will happen. Like these were pear seeds. There are no pear trees in there. Did not get pears to grow from seed. Now I made a video earlier today about making my own planting soil from compost and garden dirt, which I have in fact done, and we'll see how that goes. I probably will buy some potting soil this year, but if the compost thing works well, then hopefully that's something I'll be able to stop doing as time goes on, and just completely rely upon what I got here. I mean, if we were ever in a situation where we had to, that's pretty much all you would have. Now, am I thinking the end of the world's coming soon? No. Is it? Oh my God, coronavirus is going to kill us all! Probably not. Just so you guys know, if you're freaking out about the coronavirus, it is just slightly more deadly than the flu. Average everyday flu. And I'm going to tell you that pretty much as you go throughout your life, you're an old guy like me, you probably will find that you have lived through several ends of the world, as I have. The world is supposed to have ended I don't know how many times. So am I doing this because I figure the end of the world is coming? No, I'm doing this for a couple reasons. One, it's a lot less impactful on our environment. The less of this I have to buy, the less garden soil I have to buy, the less it has to get shipped, the less it has to be manufactured, the less energy is created or used in the creation of it. I do all this here for free and nothing but my sweat and some garden scraps. Well, and the food my wife feeds me. So there's a lot less impact on the environment. Is that an overarching concern of mine? To a certain degree, yes. I mean, you know, as I've said before, if you think it's a possibility, then it probably is. And we would be irresponsible not to try and take care of this little spaceship we have called Earth. Because there isn't anything else like it anywhere close to us. We don't have another option. And it would kind of suck to destroy what we got before the next generation gets a chance to experience it. Alright, with that being said, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this compost around, and then I'm going to do a not so environmental thing, and I'm going to use my rototiller to rototill this in. Now I know a lot of people like a no-dig garden, and I would like to have a no-dig garden, but I am not at the point yet, I think, where I can do that. You say, well, why not? Well, for a couple of reasons. I have a lot of sand here. What I have is not at all a good humus type soil. Doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it. This was a yard before I started all this, and not a very good yard. A lot of what went on in the construction of this house, I do believe, was essentially the use of fill dirt. If you know anything about construction, fill dirt is just that. It's not good dirt, it's not topsoil. It's dirt that is used to fill things. Fill holes, fill up foundations, to fill in the spots where there isn't enough dirt there to take care of the businesses you want to take care of. Whether it be putting a yard over the top of it, or putting a foundation over it. So what I'm doing is I am trying to improve my dirt as I go along. And I know you can't really see it very well on the video, but even though I did some work on this, it's still very, very sandy, very dry. The water tends to go through it very quickly. So the more organic matter I can get worked into it, the better. Once I get it to that point where I've got good humus type soil, then I'll be able to start doing the no dig and so on. Stuff that's a little more environmentally friendly. Now, I could also do this with a shovel, turn all this over, and not use gas on a rototiller, or electricity as the case may be. Well, I don't want to say that I'm lazy. I am to a certain extent. But the other thing is, you got to take care of the gardener. I am 57 years old, and doing that much digging is hard on the old bod. So that's another excuse. You notice I said excuse, not reason. So now I have some peas planted here. So you notice I'm trying to put the compost up against it. Something called side dressing, and not right on top of them. And then also I'm trying to rake some of these roots up out of here. Let me show you some examples. Alright, when you're digging around in your garden here in Florida, if you see these white roots, like that, as you can see from the leaf, is dollarweed. Very, very classic dollarweed. Now, if you try and compost that down, it'll grow in your compost. This is what is called torpedo grass. The darker, real thick, heavy-duty roots right there and then they'll have a little knot or node down at the bottom. That is torpedo grass. Once you get this, it is real hard to get rid of. And again, it will grow just fine in your compost. Unless you get your compost heated up real good and hot, it will continue to grow there. Now, hot compost will break them down. But if you like me, through the wintertime, the compost was already pretty well broke down, so it wasn't creating a lot of heat. So that's the need for me to separate some of these out. Now, will it hurt you? Not really. But every one of these you grind up will turn into another dollar weed plant. So you will have to pull them out, or you can leave them. It's up to you. It is edible. At least so I've heard. I've never tried eating it. But if you can get some of that out before you start digging it in, because when you dig it in, you're going to chop up little bits, and every one of them little bits has the opportunity to grow into another dollar weed plant. And you see all this plastic that I'm pulling out, that is tape from the various boxes that have composted down. And then lots of eggshells, which hopefully will break down a little further. But I will tell you, in this compost, there's got to be 10 or 15 dozen eggs, so a lot of them have broken down. Puts good calcium back into your soil. Alright, so with that, I am going to go get my rototiller. Alright, so we're going to do an example of how long it would take me doing this by hand. Alright, so if I was just turning this over, now you notice I'm running into stuff as I go down there. That's because this is the garden where I did the hugelkultur underneath. So it's got wood that still is not broke down yet up underneath there. As you can see, I'm pulling some of the wood up. But look at this. Oh man, look at this. I want to show you. And this is why you do it. Hopefully you can see this. But when I squeeze that, there's water coming out of there. It's all moist and wet inside there where this wood is broke down. And that's what the hugelkultur is all about. Hopefully you can see that. Because what that is, that's stored moisture. And that, my friends, is what hugelkultur is all about. If you have a spot, which I do, and I want to use this for that area, that doesn't get a lot of moisture, hugelkultur is a great way to store, not create, but store moisture. And of course, the wood breaks down over time. Organisms and such start eating on it. And as they do, the soil gets enriched by the breakdown of that wood. Kind of the same thing wood chips do for you, only underneath the soil. Wood chips do it on the top. Now, I have done this. This will be my, this will be the third year. Yeah, third year planting stuff here. And last 2 years, everything that has been planted here has grown great. Had watermelons here and tomatillos last year. And everything worked just fine. I've been very pleased with this garden. Like I said, the soil is starting to look sandy and depleted again. Thus the need to put more compost in. Almost everything that grew out of here that wasn't eaten was composted back in. So we didn't lose anything. All that's going back into the compost pile. Alright, so you see how long that took just to do that one little section. And my old behind is a little tired now. So let's do it with the rototiller and watch how much faster it is. Now, am I telling you go buy a rototiller? That's up to you. Do what's right for you. Works for me. I love it. So. Now you got to let it warm up a little bit. See, that mixes in not just the compost, but any kind of mulch I had on top and the dirt from up underneath. Mixes it all together like a good batch of cake batter. Now, for those of you who are upset with me for using gas, first thing I would say is get over it. The second thing, you'll see this tank right here. Hopefully you can see it. That tank has done that garden bed, this garden bed, and this garden bed, and I still got gas left. So that's about probably, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the garden beds, of the major, and that's the big ones. So that one tank has done over half of what I have for total garden space. All right, so is it good? Is it bad? I don't care what you think. I'll be honest with you. I think it's fine. I believe that if something needs to be done, and so I've elected to do so. If you'd elect not to do so, that's on you. It's kind of like religion. Believe what you want. The only true test is results. I will tell you one of the disadvantages is that it does tend to kill any kind of soil life, like worms. It'll kill worms, other insects. But for me, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I had a real big problem with some of the worms, the undesirable types of worms. So for me, hopefully tilling this up will help kill some of them off. May not work for you. Maybe it's something you don't want to do, and that's fine. Again, I'm going to show you what I do. I'm not going to try and tell you what to do. And you can pick and choose from the wisdom I provide, and keep what you want and toss the rest. I will not be checking on you. All right? NSA is not here. All right, well, anyway, thanks for stopping by. This is how I get my garden beds prepped. First part of well, actually not quite the first part of spring yet. Spring is still yet to come, but that's what I do. Now I'm going to rake it all out nice and smooth, and hopefully I'll be able to find enough mulch to cover it over with something. And if not, I'll just start planting it. All right, so once again, thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Comments, please, feel free, comment. Let me know what you think. I may not agree with you, but I'll definitely listen to you. All right, once again, thanks for stopping by.